Mum, yes. Mum. 2 minutes for Thomas. Hi everyone. Sorry for the banging in the background. The little is in his high chair and he likes to throw himself against the back of the chair and he's hit the unit this time. I'm just going to give a few minutes for people to add to pop on. I have this on 2 screens because once I turn the screens on the other, I can't see your comments. So I just want to make sure that people are aware I'm here. They should stay on here as well. I know I'm only a little in the screen, so I do apologise. But if anybody's got any questions, please just shout. I hope everybody can hear us as well. If you can't, again, just give us a shout. Just so that I know people can hear us. Right, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do this. I prefer Inkscape, but it's personal choice. I will show you how to do it on the internet as well as Inkscape, so that you have an option of a few different ways to do this. And I know I'm a bit early on. Technology wasn't doing what I wanted to do either, so you okay, Thomas? The smallest has not gone to sleep yet. We had a power nap when we went for a walk this afternoon. And he's wide awake, aren't you? Yes. So I don't know if you've seen the apron I put on yesterday. That the lovely picture that my nephew had drew in my sister baking cakes. But that's going to be the one I'm going to show you how to convert today. That was simply a photo taken of the picture. I have scanned them in as well using the printer. It had success with both ways. So if you're going to take a picture of a photo of a picture, just make sure it's somewhere kind of bright and that you don't get too many shadows on for best results. It will make a difference for you. This should record and it will upload and stay on the group site as well. So I'm just going to go and find the picture. I prefer to use Inkscape simply because Inkscape lets us offset the image. So in the event of it being quite a thin drawing, I don't know if you can see this one. I think it's running a couple of seconds behind me on this video. I don't know why. This one's quite a thin line drawing compared to this one, and this one I offset a little bit because it was quite thin, so I just wanted to kind of show you the difference. It can make a difference with your images depending on what type of pens have been used by the littlins when they've been drawing their pictures. So what I'll first do is I'll show you how to do it using a couple of programs on the internet, with the first one being this remove.bg. This is a popular one that a lot of people use for removing the backgrounds on photos as well. It can help. You can do it straight in Inkscape as well, but I will show you a couple of different options, and then it's just whichever you're most comfortable with and happy with. I'm just going to try and find this picture. Now remember what I saved it as and where I hid it. I don't know if anybody else has that issue, but I have it all of the time. Just replying, Jane. Yes, Jane, it will be available to watch. I promise it'll be available to watch later. I will also upload. I don't know what I've done here, but I can just hear the little one's voice in the background on that one. It will be available to watch. I will upload a link to my YouTube channel. It's not a public channel, but with the link you should be able to see the video. This is one that, as I said, my sister sent us this via Facebook. As you can see, it's automatically removed the background on that image. There, 2 minutes. I'm just going to give this baby his dummy. Emily, where's your dodo gone? You packing in? Where's your dodo gone? Eh? There it is. There it is. Oh, sorry about that. We'll have a little help out to help him. Will you keep an eye on Thomas for us, please? He's just been eating chocolate. Right, so as you can see, it's automatically, the second I uploaded it, it's automatically removed the background for us. I'm just going to download this to save it. It automatically saves it kind of as whatever your name was, and then remove BG preview. It saves it as that automatically to your program. If you're going to use this option, you would then need to use a... Yes, you can. Sorry, guys. You would then... you could either use an SVG converter. I've just googled SVG converters here. I normally use the picsvg.com here to convert it to an SVG. Emily, can you be quiet, please? Or you can just upload it straight to Cricut. I'm just going to open a new window because I was busy on 50 million designs here earlier. Emily, can you be quiet, please? Oh, honestly, I don't know about anybody else, but homeschooling and children are driving me nuts. So I'm just going to open a new project here, and I can just upload that one with the file remove, the background remove, straight into here, or you could convert it to an SVG. I'll go back and show you how to do that using one of the online options as well. It's on go slow. I don't know about anybody else's, but mine's always on go slow, and has been even more so since the update. What I'll do while that's sorting itself out is I'll come back up here and show you how you can convert it to an SVG. So I'm just using picsvg.com here to upload it. I don't know why this opens automatically. It drives us nuts. I thought you were taking Thomas into there. This one let you convert any file to an SVG. As you can see, it's kind of uploaded it here. So again, just download your SVG and take notice of where it's saving or what it's saving as. I'm terrible for not remembering what it's saved as, or where I saved it. I can spend a lot of time going around in circles hunting. What I will say is when you're using Cricut, sorry, it is worth using the little tags when you upload, so you can come back and search for your projects. It makes life a bit easier. So I've got a couple of different options here now that I'm in design space. I can either upload one of the converted ones, which I've got the one where I've just removed the background, sorry. I can just upload that to Design Space. Keeping it complex kind of cleans it up and kind of keeps the image a bit more than using the simple one. It just gives her a better picture. But as you can see, this one's kind of, I'm just going to type in Darwin here. This, when I was suggested using the keywords and tags, it's worth using this box to use a couple of keywords. As I said, it just makes it easier to come back later on if you want to come back to a project. I'm going to save this as a cut image because I don't want to print and cut it. I will be cutting it directly out of vinyl or HTB, depending on what I was applying it to. So, yes, Lindsay, Inkscape is free. I will upload the link to the website to the group for you, and it is free. It is worth learning simply for the ability to do text quickly. You don't have to faff on like you do in Design Space with ungrouping in space, and especially with the like script fonts. But even printed fonts can be quite irregular spaced in Design Space. You haven't got that issue with Inkscape. I'm happy to do a couple of tutorials on Inkscape, getting the basics, creating them offset shadow layers for behind text or behind the likes of cake toppers. It comes in quite handy. As you can see, this is all done in Inkscape, and I've layered, create a shadow layer behind the ones to layer it up, and behind the Peter Rabbit to kind of give it a bit of a solid shape behind it. So it is worth learning. It will save your sanity so much if you use Design Space. What a lot of people are doing is they're actually buying the business edition of Silhouette Studio and using that and saving it as an SVG and then uploading to Design Space to cut. Silhouette Studio is used for the cameos and the portrait and the curios. So it kind of just depends what you want really. If you want to pay or if you kind of just want something for free for now, kind of get a feel for it. But again, Silhouette Studio has a lot more capabilities than Design Space. And again, it'll save you sanity for a lot of things. So as you can see, that one is using the image from the background remover. As you can see, it's uploaded. It's a bit kind of grainy. It hasn't uploaded as well. It's kind of removed a lot of the lines where they've maybe been a bit fainter. If I upload the one where I convert it with an SVG, it's probably going to be similar, because that used that file as well. I'll upload this one to compare next to. As you can see, that one's not the best quality either. In terms of, well, this one's a bit less spottier than this one. But as you can see down this layer panel, it's done in all tiny sections. So what you would need to do is you would need to weld it at this stage. You would need to weld both of these options if you are going to use that one's already as a solid shape. If you are going to use Design Space to remove the images, if you are going to use the background remover or the SVG converter on the internet, you would need to weld this to keep it as one. Again, I could upload it, and it did actually upload quite well, the image I had. But sometimes the don't kind of all convert well, so it just depends on what you've got to watch. As you can see, this is the image here that I've taken, and I'm just going to show you how this one cleaned up. directly in Inkscape. As you can see, it's a bit harder and a bit trickier. I could be here all night, as you can see, you can come over here and play with the tolerances, and sometimes it does kind of, if you kind of play around with these, it can clean this up a bit for you. It doesn't always work well. As you can see, I've just clicked there, remove background, completely lost the whole thing. So it's why I don't typically use Design Space for converting them. Emily, sorry guys, I've got two who's awake who are refusing to go to sleep. One who doesn't sleep anyway. But this is my preferred method. Is to use, Emily, can you be quiet please? Sorry guys. This is my preferred method, and I'm going to show you how I do it with these. So I've just opened up the program here. This is a bit of a later addition to the newer ones, but it's worth grabbing a pen and paper to make a note of this, but it will upload, and I will create a sheet that details these actions for you, and I'll just simplify it into a sheet, an A4 sheet, so you can see what, sorry, I've got the hiccups guys, what actions you need to do at this stage. And I will show you just quickly as well how easy the text uploads once I've done the picture. So I'm just going to import, come up to file and down to import to upload the picture. I'm just going to come to my downloads because I know that's where it is saved, and just going to upload it. Just leave it as it is automatically and click OK. Don't need to mess around with any of those settings. This little one up here lets you lock the shape, a bit like it is on Design Space, so it just keeps the proportions for you. And what you need to do here is you need to make sure that the picture is highlighted, so just click on it and you have all your little arrows. If you click it again, you can kind of rotate it around. And then you need to come up to Path, and you need to hit Trace Bitmap. Sorry. And what you'll do is you'll get this box that'll pop up. I normally remove the background, and there's a little update button here that I'm just going to hit. And as you can see, I've got this photo, this picture, sorry, here. It's got a black shadow at the top, but that I'll remove quite quickly in a second. That's just off the edge of the photo where it was taken. I'm just going to hit OK. And as you can see, it has placed kind of the image on top. If I remove it to the side, you can see there's my original, and this is my little kind of, this is my SVG. This is convert to an SVG here. If I come over here, I'm just going to zoom in a minute so you can see. If I come over and click this one just underneath the arrows here, you can see all these little nodes pop up, and that's letting you know that that's a cut file. As you can see, I'm just going to keep the original over there. Oh, it's going a bit slow. As you can see, I'm going to keep the original there, but you can see I've got these little extra nodes down this side. So it is worth clicking this to see where all these little extra nodes are, and I'm just going to click on them. So all I've done is I've just dragged a box around them, and I'm just going to hit delete, and I'm just going to do that with a couple left down here in the corner. It's just where it's picked up marks on the paper or shadows, and as you can see, I've got this big box along here, so I'm just going to drag a box around here, and again hit delete when it catches up. And as you can see, I have my little man. It's actually a picture of my sister who bakes cakes, and she is baking a cake, and this one here is the cake, and this one here is one that she's accidentally dropped on the floor. I don't know where he's got that idea from. I've never known how to drop a cake, but the imaginations of 3-year-olds are something else. So this I could simply file, and save as and upload to Design Space. I'm just going to label it as an SVG so I know where it is. But before I take it back to Design Space to kind of compare with you the different options of how I've done it, I am just going to show you. Sorry, I keep checking between these two. I've got my laptop where I'm demonstrating. I've got my daughter's laptop open for questions, so that I can answer yes. And I'm going to show you how to offset it, just in case if it was quite thin lines, it's actually cut okay. But if you had quite a thin drawing like I did on this one, which my little boy drew with his mama and granddad, you will see that that is quite thin and it actually cut quite well. And I used the matte premium vinyl from Cricut. That is my go-to vinyl for all of my projects, unless I can't get the colour in it, which tends to be a couple of the pastels. My go-to is the matte. I don't like glossy. I don't get along with it very well. So the matte is my preferred option time and time again. So, getting sidetracked, sorry. Right, so in order to offset this, what I'm going to first do is, sometimes when you open it up, and if I was just to come up to path and outset, or it hasn't outset very much there, but sometimes it uploads quite thickly, depending on kind of if you've already settings. All of my settings previously before this afternoon in Inkscape, so it hasn't done it too bad yet. But if you want to change how much it's increasing the thickness each time, you need to come up to edit, and you're going to go all the way down to the bottom to preferences, and it's going to pop up this box here. I'm just going to increase it so that you can see it. Normally it would open up at tools here. You would need to come down to behavior and click the little plus sign next to it, and you just need to come down to steps, and as you can see, you've kind of got this little box here. The inset outset box is the one that you want. If I just show you this one, it is normally set at 2.000. If I was to come back and click on this one and click offset it, you can use either control and close bracket. As you can see, it's kind of quite thickly increased it, or I'm just going to edit undo that one, or you can hit path and down to outset. Again, you can see it's kind of quite thick lines here now for working with. I don't want them that thick. I don't need them that thick. So I normally, I'm just going to edit undo this one. I'm just going to come back to my preferences and to the box. I normally set this at 0.004, just to increase gradually, but you can play around with the numbers for what you prefer on here. And I'm just going to kind of come up to path and outset them a little bit. It's quite hard to see. If I zoom in, you can normally see a little bit easier. You can see my little dots kind of jump when I do this. So yeah, it kind of, as I said, it'll just do it gradually. This particular one doesn't need it. I did cut it last night. I uploaded a photo. It'll be on the main page of the apron I made. The apron was one I got from Crafty Cutters last year, and I'm going to be ordering a couple more of the new ones because I quite like the design of the new one and the double pockets. So this one I'm just going to save, and I'm just going to come back to Design Space. So this is the SVG converter one. This is the background remover one, and I'm just going to upload the one that I've just done in Design Space. But as I said, it is just about playing around and deciding what you're most comfortable with using. And when I finish this, I'll go back and show you how the text magically appears in Design Space as well, in Inkscape as well, compared to Design Space. As you can see, Well, this one is much thicker because I have left it offset a little bit. But you can see kind of side by side them 3 images, and that is certainly kind of the better quality using Inkscape compared to the online converter and the background remover, and using Design Space to do that as well. The lines are much cleaner and neater, and it'll read much easier as well. So that is my preferred method. I'm going to come back to Inkscape, sorry, to show you. I just delete that. I am just going to type my name to show you how easy it is to do text in Inkscape. Because I promise you, once you learn this, and I know it looks tricky, but I promise you it's not. And the actions will become second nature, like they are in Design Space. And I said I'm happy to do a couple of one-to-one tutorials for the functions in Inkscape to help you along your way. But this will save you sanity, I promise you. It doesn't take 10 years for text to load, you know, all the spacing to kind of alter. I'm just going to come up to here. Now I have 10 million font. I'm just going to have a quick scroll through my list. I'm just going to find, where's my drop down? I'm just going to find the script font to show you how accurately this all joins together. This is Amsterdam. There you go, one click and it is all spaced very nicely. I haven't had to do anything to it. I haven't had to alter it. This isn't a cutting file though, that is the only thing. So if I was to just save this as an SVG and upload it to Inkscape, it wouldn't show us anything. It would load it as a blank screen. So to convert this to a cutting file for the sake of Design Space or any other cutting programs such as Silhouette, but you can do it within Silhouette itself, you're going to come up to Path and Object to Path. Then you're going to come to Object and you're going to Ungroup. This isn't necessary, but sometimes Inkscape doesn't quite complete the actions that it needs to. And this little box down here, kind of where it says Layer 1, just under the colour panel there, is what's going to tell you what it's doing. So it's got 5 objects selected of type Path in Layer 1. So you can see it's kind of, it has converted to the to a cut path, but each of these letters at the moment are individually, so I can go along here and change the colour of each letter just to show you that. And that would mean that if I saved it as a SVG file and uploaded it to Inkscape, it would cut all these individually still, as Design Space will. So once you've hit Ungroup, you then just need to come up to Path and hit Union. And as you can see, it's all changed to one solid colour, and that if I was to click on that, you can see it is just one continuous path that cuts, and it will cut quite neatly as well. Now if I wanted to create a shadow layer behind that, I know this is something I'm asked for quite often in one of the groups I'm in for, because one of the files has a shadow kind of behind the font, behind the name, just to make it stand out a bit. What you need to do is, I'm just going to duplicate it and I'm just going to change the colour of one of the layers. So you can see here I've got my pink one and I've got my grey one behind it. The grey one's the one I'm going to offset. So again, I'm just going to come up to Path and I'm just going to outset. I'm just going to do that a couple of times. As I said, you can just hit Control and close bracket as well. And as you can see, that's thickening up quite nicely there. It's created a shadow which you can use for cake toppers, for creating a shadow layer behind your designs, for quite a few things really. It's quite useful to know. If you wanted to remove these centre bits here on Sarah, for example, on the A and yes, to kind of create a bit more of a solid layer, what you just then need to do is kind of highlight it, hit path, and then break apart. And you can see there's a couple of little extra boxes popped up behind it as I've done that. And all you then need to do is come to path and union, and that will make it solid. And as you can see, there is a shadow behind it. So I hope that's helpful. What I will do is we'll set up a date for a couple of other tutorials and a craft along event. I'm going to list a couple of materials that you will need to do the project with me, where you can grab files, vinyl I'm going to use, and a couple of other projects. I will put a couple on the group to pick, because I appreciate that, you know, you might want to do different focuses with Mother's Day and Easter coming up, so we can kind of have a chat with which files we want to use, or if there's anything in particular that you want us to do a tutorial or any craft along events on, please just shout, because I'm more than happy to help and share my knowledge. The only thing I haven't quite sussed is how to convert photos yet. Me and photos haven't quite gotten along. I don't know if it's just the photos I've been using. I'm hoping to have a bit more time this week to play around with that. But the joys of homeschooling, 2 children, plus a preschooler, plus a baby, have meant that time's been limited. I'm sure it has for many of you. But all that I would have to do if I wanted to upload this to Design Space is come up to File, Save As. I'm just going to type Sarah SVG here so you can see it. I'm going to come to Design Space. I'm just going to shimmy my little bakers along. She has got on an apron. It's a permanent keepsake now. It was too much of a good opportunity to miss, I thought. Just going to come up to here. What I should have said is in Inkscape, when you save as, there is the option here for the drop down to kind of pick Inkscape SVG or plain SVG. It doesn't matter which either of them you use for Design Space. And there's PNG and a couple of other different PDFs and that. So you can use a couple of different ones. I know they can't all be uploaded to Design Space though. So as you can see, I've still got my 2 shadows behind here. And if I just upload it, the only thing is it doesn't upload true to size. It's something to do with the number of millimeters per square. It went over above my head when somebody tried to explain it. It was different programs use different, I think it's to do with the pixels. Different programs use different ones per size, per square. And because of that, that impacts on whether your files upload massively or tiny in Design Space. And it's unfortunately just one of those things. GIMP, I've got no idea how GIMP works, Nina. It just suddenly pops up when I'm trying to download and open a couple of things. It's not a program I have explored using. To be honest, it's quite annoying. I don't know why it pops up. I think it must be something to do with automatic settings within the computer, which I haven't sussed out how to turn off because I'd much rather it download and upload it to Inkscape. But it doesn't do that. But as you can see, it's uploaded as 2 layers here, so you just need to come up to ungroup, and you would then just be able to kind of do that. If the files that I know a lot of people like to do this for is curious designs, cuts, bookmarks, just to help the name pop. So at this stage, you would kind of remove the top layer and weld the bottom layer to the edges on the bookmark. So yes, but any other questions, I'm happy to help. You can add them to the video below. or you can pop them under one of the other chats for this tutorial. Jane, it should upload automatically. It should stay live on here. What I will do is the second I've finished the tutorial, it will download to my computer, and then I'll upload it to my YouTube channel for you. It'll stay on the group as well. I'll try and create a file section for them, or a pinned post where I can add the links to. As I go along, I'll add the link and what the tutorial was for, so that you can easily find it as well, and it stays pinned at the top of your group for you, for easiness to find, because I know how frustrating that can be, trying to find something within a group where you know it's there but you can never find it. So yes, I'll upload it straight away, Jane, for you, and I will let you know once it's done. So I am going to end that there, guys, but I'm here to help any way I can, and I am certainly more than happy to do some craft along events. I'm aware though that a couple of suppliers, especially the likes of the acrylic ones, are running on about a 2-week turnaround time. So I appreciate that not everybody might have blanks already for them. Cushions and vinyl aren't so bad. They're normally within a few days from Crafty Cutters. So those ones we can kind of do on a bit more of a closer time scale. But there's a couple of acrylic blank ones that I'm keen to share with you, and I think these will quite enjoy as a group. Kind of includes layering different coloured vinyls, guys, just to make things a bit more complicated. I know for myself it was one of those things that I have avoided for a very long time. Stuck to single colours only. So I know kind of how daunting that can be, making that leap. But there's a couple of nice projects that I think would be quite nice, especially like the Mother's Day and Easter coming up as well. So I will give time for those blanks to be collected and delivered. So I will post timings for those up on the event, and I'll set up some Zoom sessions for those as well, because within Zoom, and then you can ask us a bit more. It's easier to ask us questions on there on Zoom, so we'll set up some of them as well. So thank you for watching, guys. I know I ramble and I do apologise, but we'll see what we can get sorted out. Thank you for watching. Bye.